Once upon a time, there was a loving farming family. They worked hard in the field during the day and returned home for a warm dinner in the evening. They had a peaceful life, or at least it appeared that way. One night, something strange happened. The daughter woke up and left the house. The sound of her leaving woke the son, and after he heard the door slide shut, he got up to follow her. He took off into the night, curious to see what his sister could be up to at this hour. He followed behind his sister as she traveled deeper into the forest, until they reached a cabin. Before she entered, the daughter looked around to make sure she hadn't been followed, and the son managed to hide just in time to remain hidden. He waited a moment, and then crept to the window to see what was happening. He couldn't believe his eyes. There before him, he saw his sister turn into a monster. And even worse, he could hear her mumbling to herself about a plan to eat the whole family. Startled, he took a step back and stepped on a branch, causing a loud snap. The monster looked outside, but saw nothing. The son barely managed to get out of sight in time. After the monster returned inside, the boy ran home as fast as he could. He was confused and scared. What was going on? When he got home, he slammed the door shut, took a deep breath, and began to think. How could his sweet, kind, helpful younger sister be a monster? And more importantly, what should he do now that he knows? The next day at breakfast, the boy was nervous around his sister. He couldn't look at her the same now that he knew her secret. Should he tell his parents? Should he ignore it and pretend it was all a dream? He wasn't sure. But when his sister announced that she was finished eating and going for a walk, the boy knew he had to use this opportunity to do something. If he didn't, his parents could end up being eaten by the monster. The boy told his parents about what he heard and saw the night before. But they didn't believe him. They thought he had just had a bad dream, or was making up a story to get his sister in trouble. They warned him to drop his story, or he would face punishment for saying such mean things about his sister. But the boy insisted he was telling the truth. So he was kicked out of the house, and couldn't come back until he learned to be nicer to his sister. Desperate to save his family, the boy went through the town asking others for help, but no one would believe him. His journey took him to a mountain path on the outskirts of town, where he came face to face with a ferocious tiger. The boy was startled and almost fell off the mountain path. The tiger slowly came closer and closer to the boy. It seemed angry. But instead of raising his paw to strike, he simply held it in the air, allowing the boy to see the thorn that was stuck in his paw. He plucked it from the tiger's paw, and the tiger calmed down. The boy breathed a sigh of relief as the tiger walked away. Tired, the boy decided to rest under a tree. Night was coming, and he still had no idea how to save his family. Maybe they would be okay on their own, the boy thought. After all, his sister is quite small. But then he remembered how scary the monster was, and knew he shouldn't underestimate it. The boy decided that he would go back to help his parents, even though he didn't have a plan. He went back to the house, and looked inside to find a surprise. The monster had turned his parents into mice. They explained to him that the monster left to get some rice from town, but once it was back, it was going to eat them. Suddenly, the boy heard footsteps outside, so he crawled up to the roof to hide. The monster came back with the rice, and noticed something was different about the house. It was the smell. She could smell her brother's return and knew there was only one place he could hide. She went outside and found him on the roof. She climbed a tree to reach him, and right as she was about to jump, a tiger came sprinting across the field. It leapt onto the tree, crashing into the monster. It knocked them both down to the ground. The monster hit the ground so hard that its true form tumbled out of the girl's body. It tried to fly away, but the boy swatted it with his sword. Now his sister was back to normal, and he didn't have to worry about the monster anymore. The family, along with their new pet tiger, went on to live the rest of their days happily ever after. Heyo, this is Watagumo. If you liked this video, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.